Howdy gamers, Old Gamer Guy here. Welcome to another Stellaris Console Edition video. It is the year 2558, and in the last video our fleets pushed down and took some space from the Pretheran Scourge. We lost a few ships, so we are repairing and reinforcing at our home base, getting ready for more action. But meanwhile, in the upper part of the map, the Imari have continued to recapture space that the Bavi zealots took from us. So I'm going to go ahead and send my transport fleets up this way so they'll be ready to capture a planet should the opportunity arise. Meanwhile, in the Gossamer system, I think it's time to rebuild our colossal assembly yards. We either had built one or maybe we were working on it, but the Bavi took this system from us. We recaptured it, and so now we need to build the assembly yards so we can build a Colossus. But in the meantime, politics goes on. The Senate is now in session. They are voting on a new resolution, the Readied Shield. The universe is a dangerous place, and all members of the galactic community should be ready to defend their worlds, whether it be against pirates, space creatures, or the unknown. It looks like everybody's voting in support of this, and we are going to go ahead and do the same. We have gained a colony, and as we all know, my colony management skills mean that that's not always good news, and that's unfortunate because we just gained another colony, so that's double the bad news possibly. And oh no, we have gained another colony, so that's 3 times the potential colony management that I will fail. And when I fail colony management, it often leads to scum and villainy, like it did on this colony.
Construction complete.
But on the lighter side of the news, we have completed construction of our colossal assembly yard at Gossamer. And so I would like to get started building a Colossus. But unfortunately, we are very, very short on our alloy supply. I need about 9,000 more alloys to get this going, so that's going to be a while. But in the meantime, I notice on the map that the sacred Cyrilan have disappeared. And looking at our contact list, the Pretheran Scourge are on here twice. So in the last video, I thought it might be a bug when the Pretheran Scourge were arriving again, but apparently it was not a bug. There are 2 different Pretheran Scourges on my map, so that's not good. Oh, and speaking of not good, more scum, more villainy. Things are really going well. So I noticed at this point that we are at 70% on our war exhaustion, and the Bavi are at 68%, so we need to attack the Bavi. So we could approach on the southern part of the map and go through the Scourge. We could approach on the northern part and go through the Scourge, but the northern part seems like less Scourge in between. So I'm going to go that way, and we're going to send our fleets on a long journey toward the other side of the map. But in the meantime, the Bok hegemony has become more outwardly egalitarian, which is a good thing, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Speaking of the grand scheme, the Imari directors have taken on the challenge of building a science nexus, a research institute so technically advanced that it could revolutionize the scientific process completely. The Vega system is bustling with activity as engineers are assembling the initial build site. Regardless of whether they fail or succeed, trying alone has earned them a place among the great forerunners of our time. So we could approve of this and say it's a testament to the ingenuity of intelligent life. We could say they are overreaching. We could tell them to crash and burn, but we are going to approve. The Amari are basically our overlords at this point, so of course we approve. But never mind that, there's more scum and villainy on Silith Prime. Very, very unfortunate. But at this point, I realized that if I diverted my fleets, I was sending them toward the center of the galaxy. But I realized if I diverted my fleets to the outer part of the galaxy, I would have to go through less Scourge to get to the Bavi. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my fleets and send them over this way. I think in the long run this will be better, and we will be able to attack the Bavi sooner. Meanwhile, in the Senate, the readied shield has been approved. So I'm sure that's good. It sounds good. I don't even really remember what it does at this point as I'm doing this voiceover, but it seems like it would be a good thing. Our fleets passed through a gateway, I think, from Imari space all the way over to the left side of the galaxy, and we are now in position to do something. And look at this. There is a Bavi Colossus here. The Imari are approaching, but let's help out. Let's destroy a Bavi Colossus. But before we could even enter the system, the Imari had taken care of it. So we're going to go ahead and continue on down this way. But before we could get there, we ran into a Bavi fleet.
Hostile fleet assets engaged.
That fleet was no problem at all. So let's move on. But in the meantime, here's some good news. Order has been restored on Jurg Sahul. So let's celebrate by pushing further into Bavi space.
Hostile stationary asset engaged.
Scum and villainy has reared its ugly head on en route, but we cannot be distracted by this. We must continue with our war effort against the Bavi. We must push on. The galaxy map is starting to look a little weird over here, so I'm not really sure where to go next. It looks like the Imari, or at least some friendly fleets, are doing a lot of work up this way. So I'm going to send my fleets down this way, but I'm not really sure where the enemy fleets are down here, and I'm kind of paranoid. So I'm going to send my friendly fleets to this system here. I don't want to get caught by enemy fleets. That already happened one time in this series. I don't want it to happen again. Basically, our fleet was destroyed because I got too aggressive. So now I'm probably being overly cautious, but that's just my nature, I guess. But in the meantime, it looks relatively safe, so let's push on.
Alert. Hostile fleet assets detected.
There was an enemy fleet briefly, but the battle was over so fast I didn't even see it.
Hostile stationary asset engaged.
The Amari Colossus is about to do some work, so let's enjoy this show really quick. They are encasing a Bavi planet in an impenetrable shield. Always a crowd pleaser. But in the meantime, our fleet has moved on and captured another system. So let's go ahead and move on ourselves, shall we, and capture some more. We were on our way to this system when we got the report that someone else got the Queen. You might remember from a video or two back in this series that a Pretheran Queen was injured and there was a special project to capture the Queen. At the time, I didn't feel like we should go for it, so I didn't do anything about it. Apparently somebody else did it. Hopefully they are on our side in this war. The Queen was in this system, and apparently the High Kingdom are the ones that got to the injured Queen, and hopefully this will do us some good in this war. She doesn't seem to be very strong, really, to be honest, but hopefully it will do us some good. So now the PlayStation Network has pushed down to here and taken a bunch of space from the Bavi, but we lost a few ships, so I'm going to send them back up here to a friendly starbase and let them repair and reinforce. But the result of all that is we have retaken the lead in the war in heaven. Our war exhaustion is now lower than the Bavi. At one time, we were down like 15% to the Bavi, but we have retaken the lead. But meanwhile, the Bavi have made a dominion out of the cannabinoid United Holdings. Apparently a brand new empire, but the Bavi have already made them a dominion. And meanwhile, up here, I notice on the map something very disturbing. A bunch of Scourge fleets all grouped together, and altogether they total approximately 375k in strength. So I don't mind telling you, I'm a little bit scared, but that's okay. We're concentrating on the Bavi right now. We have gained another colony, and I didn't see it at the time, but actually we gained a second colony right at the same moment. But time flies when you're having fun, and so 14 and a half years have gone by, and we need to renew our edicts. I'm not generating as much unity and all my other resources really as much as I'd like, but I am making enough to go ahead and renew all of my edicts that I've been using lately, which is to increase our mineral production, our energy credit production, our shield hit points, our armor hit points, energy weapon damage. So I am going to get all that going again, and hopefully we can keep this going because, like I said, I don't seem to be generating enough of everything to keep this going just indefinitely. But for now, we can keep these edicts going for another 14 and a half years, thankfully. Our mirror dimension counterparts are now having a hard time over there, so tough luck. But we have our own problems, such as rogue drones on en route. We've got our own problems over here. Scum and villainy on another colony. But I was hoping that the Imari Colossus was about to encase another planet in an impenetrable shield. But they just went to this starbase and hung out for a minute and then moved on. In some ways, I would rather they didn't do that, but in other ways, I recognize that it certainly helps our war effort for them to do that. So I'm trying not to judge them for what they do. I certainly make questionable decisions all the time, as you, my viewers, well know. Apparently something else happened in the Senate that I was not even aware of. I don't even remember this being put to the vote, so I must have been distracted by something else. But apparently something passed. I don't know whether it was good or bad. In the meantime, we finally have enough alloys to build a Colossus. But of course, it is going to take a long time to build, so who knows if I'll actually have one built before the end of the game. But speaking of the end, I think this is a good place to go ahead and end this video. The Bavi are definitely on the ropes. We're taking space. The Scourge are definitely very intimidating still. I think there's still going to be a problem. But things are going well right now. We are ahead of the Bavi by a good amount in war exhaustion. We'll see what happens next. But for now, as always, Thanks for watching.